Donovan's birth was like that, though. Donovan's birth was definitely, I think, because it was the first grandchild that was born, and it really took the whole village in order to bring him into the world. It was like this whole, and I think even at 17, I think that I did plan out my birth in that way, that I wanted it to be something where he was celebrated into the world versus this thing that was happening. I really wanted him to be welcomed in and celebrated, and that was the way that you're brought into the world. I really think gives you the platform and what path you're going to take in your life, and that was really important to me. And I really honestly feel like he really got that. It was like my whole entire family got involved, all my siblings, my cousins, my aunt. It was like my best friend. You were there. He was really brought in that way. Mom made stuffed bell peppers, and everyone celebrated and passed the baby around. And in a lot of ways, Donovan has a different relationship with all of my siblings and my mother and my parents than the other children do, where there's no in a lot of ways there's a lack of boundaries, because everyone feels very entitled to Donovan. Everyone feels that he's got that parental child connection to everyone individually, where he gets yelled at by everybody, and yet everyone feels like they have say or some kind of authority. Like it's their own child, and he's always had that kind of bond with everyone individually.
The firstborn.
Yes, and he was the firstborn, so it really did take a village in a lot of ways. He was brought into the world that way, and he still has that connection with everyone. There isn't that fine line. He's very much interconnected to everyone in that way.
It's part of his journey.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that way, and watching him and the way that he interacts with his aunts and his uncles and his grandmother. I mean, he's got more mothers than he knows what to do with. Poor kid. He doesn't get away with anything.
And you had complications and...
Yeah, I did. What I remember was, he was actually 2 weeks late as far as being born, but we didn't know that we were going to have him the day we had him. Lisa did induce the labor. I had done acupuncture. I had toxemia, and I had literally swollen up. So I was totally, my blood pressure was 150 over 100. It was just like I was not in good shape, and I was swelling up. Donovan kept dropping, and yet I couldn't go into labor, and it was at that point where it was like if I went into labor, I was going to go into seizures, or the baby was going to get stuck, so what do we do? And so Lisa put me on bed rest for 2 weeks on my left side to drop my blood pressure, and then we did acupuncture, we did herbs, pressure points. I wasn't allowed to have any kind of stimuli in my room whatsoever for that, and that went on like a week and a half. And the moment that she got my blood pressure stabilized, that was when she induced labor. She scraped my cervix, and then she did castor oil, and she was like, we're going into labor and we're doing it now. We have you at this point where you're stable, and this is it. We have this small window to make this happen, and we're doing it. And she literally just pushed it, and we did, and we just went into labor. We didn't know who was going to be there or what was going to happen. Are we going to be able to call people? And it just kind of like all came together. And then I remember there was that sign that everyone had painted, and my mom put it out on the porch of basically someone in labor, go away, fuck off. Because I didn't want men at the birth. There were certain men I just didn't want at the birth. It was very much a woman's thing. And I think the only male that was at my birth was my brother. Nathan was there because he called the time, and Trina was there. His significant other was there because Trina was 6 months pregnant with Cassidy. And so that was Trina's first experience with a home birth, and she was just like, whoa.
I think I put the date that you were going to have Donovan on the refrigerator, too.
Yes, actually you did, because we had all those alphabet magnets, and you guys were leaving all sorts of messages on the refrigerator that whole entire several weeks before he was born. People kept leaving messages for Donovan. People wrote letters to Donovan, all sorts of stuff. There's like videotape of like Blaine, back when Blaine was talking to me. He left messages for everyone, like, I don't know. But Donovan was never supposed to be named Donovan either. The whole time I was pregnant, it was Josiah. And everyone referred to the baby as Josiah, and that's actually his real birth name. Donovan didn't actually, my mom actually named him Donovan. He was Josiah from, like, because Derek wasn't a part of the first or second trimester. We were not a couple. So it was like, I got pregnant, I let him know I was pregnant, but he didn't want any of that. He didn't come around until the third trimester, and was just like, and it was on his own accord, and he was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. I want you to please allow me in your life. And allow me to be a part of this, and can we at least try? And so he didn't come around till the very end. So I had already named the child, and it was Donovan. And so I used to read to my belly every single night, and it was Josiah, and that was the name I used to whisper to my belly every single evening. And that was how everyone referred to him, and that was supposed to be his name. And then it was 2 days before I gave birth, and Derek was just like, Josiah seems so ethnic. And that was the issue. And we were just like, boy, did you come into the wrong family? None of us are white. And we weren't raised white, so it was just like, okay. And so Mom actually was just like, well, you're Welsh, you're Irish, so why don't we name him Donovan? That goes to your heritage, Derek. And then if you did it that way, he's Derek John Howell, so we named him Donovan Josiah Howell, and they have the same initials, DJH.
Oh, great.
And so Derek really liked that. And then when Donovan was born, Donovan really suited him. He was a little Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
But as he gets older, I really feel like he kind of steps more and more into his real name, which is, to me, he'll always be Josiah.
Kind of his spiritual.
Yes. It's a much stronger name. And so, I don't know, I feel like as he gets older and he becomes more of a man, he definitely steps into Josiah. And Josiah's a really big name. So is Donovan, though. Donovan's a really big name as well.
Donovan's a big name, but there's two sides of him.
Yeah.
Of the spectrum of him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's definitely two sides of him. And Donovan definitely he's an interesting kid, too, because there's a lot more depth to him, and there's many, many, many layers, and he's paying attention much more than people think.
Oh,
And he's very aware and very attuned.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes on with that kid than I think people realize.
Oh, I know so, too.
Yeah.
I knew that from the very beginning.
He's an
And
interesting
there's
kid.
going to come a time where he's going to be through whatever he needs to be through and be to the other side of his passage of rights and being able to help someone else. And you can't get that out of a book.
Yeah, that kid is very, very empathetic. He feels way too much of what's going on in the world and what's going on around him.
And he's seen a lot. He has a lot of insight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been exposed to quite a lot.
I would say so.
Yeah, he's not going into the world with blinders.